Hi, I'm Sean Carruthers, and welcome to How Do I on Butterscotch.com. In this series, we're taking a look inside the computer case. In this episode specifically, we're taking a look at the RAM. Now, the RAM, or the Random Access Memory, is the short-term memory inside your computer system. Anything you're doing on a daily basis, like working in a word processing document, is being done more or less in RAM. Now, one of the things that you need to make sure of on a computer system is that you have enough RAM to do your job properly. So one of the things that a lot of people do to increase the performance of their system is to improve the RAM in their system. Now, you can typically find the RAM on the motherboard somewhere next to the processor, and it's generally a long stick that's set up in a slot on the motherboard itself. Now, each motherboard typically has between 2 and 4 slots. If you've got a very small computer, it may just be one stick, but typically you'll see them in at least 2. And the reason for that is because a lot of machines these days use something called dual channel memory. So we'll see on this board that we actually have 2 slots of yellow and 2 slots of a darker color, and that indicates where you should put the RAM. You want to put 2 slots or 2 sticks of RAM in the 2 yellow slots for greater performance. It actually runs the 2 of them in parallel and gets better performance out of it that way. So the next 2 you'd put in would be in the darker slots. Now, if you want to upgrade your RAM, the first thing you need to do is you need to get it out of the board. So you locate the spot on the board where it is, and you'll see 2 little tabs on the side. First thing you do is you click on the 2 tabs from the side and pull them outwards gently. What this will do is it'll raise the RAM up a little bit, and then you can grab the RAM and take it out. Now, you can identify the RAM typically by looking at the stickers on it, or they may have a stencil on it indicating what the model number is of the RAM. You can look that up online to find out how much RAM you've got in your system currently and what type of RAM it is. And this is important because you'll want to replace it with the same type, not necessarily from the same manufacturer. So if you have Kingston, you can switch to Crucial or vice versa. But typically you want to make sure that it is the same speed of RAM and that it will fit in the same slot. So you've got different types of RAM, including DDR, DDR2, now DDR3. Older machines will have something called SDRAM, and you can identify these by the types of configuration they have. DDR and DDR2 and DDR3 will typically have a single slot on the bottom of the RAM itself. You can see a little notch there that allows it to go into the slot and make sure that you're getting the right kind in there. Older machines that have SDRAM will have 2 slots, located one closer to the center and then one closer to the far end of the slot. So you want to make sure you're replacing with the same type, SDRAM for SDRAM, DDR for DDR, DDR2 for DDR2, and DDR3 for DDR3. This is why it can be important to understand what type of motherboard you have in your system, because even without having to take the RAM out, just by knowing the make and model of your motherboard, you can go online and see the specs for it and understand what type of RAM your system takes and what the maximum amount it would take. Then when you have the new RAM that you want to put into your system, whether you're adding it to the RAM you already have or whether you're replacing all of the RAM that came out of your system, then you'll just put it up to the slot like so. Nudge it in gently so you don't damage anything when you're going in, and then ease it in. At the last bit, give it a little bit of a hard push, and then make sure that the tabs on either side snug in against the side of the RAM. If it isn't actually attached in, if it isn't nudged in, then it isn't necessarily connected and it won't work properly. Anyhow, that's a look at the RAM on your system. Don't forget to check out the other parts in this series.